Hi, Gemini. Welcome to your end of December 2022 uh, tarot reading. It's Rena here. That looks like a Gemini to me. Okay. All right. I just want to, just a message that I just want to say right off the bat. If you're somebody who, if you're a Gemini who, is graduating from college, and, you can graduate from college in December. I did. And you or maybe you've recently, maybe you graduated last summer, and you thought you wanted a certain type of job. Or it doesn't even have to be college. I guess you could have trained for something else, because that's what this card represents. You may have discovered that it's not what you want. Do not allow anybody to strong arm you into doing something that you don't want to do. I totally get, you might have a parent or somebody who's paying your bills, but then, obviously you have to deal with that on your end of like, how am I going to get financially independent so that I can't, have it both ways. If I'm under somebody's thumb financially, then that it is what it is. Because in the past position, we have the Eight of Pentacles. This can be training for something. And the person, even an apprenticeship. So I would look at also an internship. And I've heard that they're ending, or, they're thinking about ending these unpaid internships. Gemini people would gravitate towards the media. So, it might be working in a newsroom or something like that. And I hope that they do away with unpaid internships. That is such a ripoff. So if you come out of journalism school and you have to just work for free, what the hell is up with that? That's just financial exploitation, straight up. So, but just being in that environment, you might find that you really don't like what the truth of that profession is all about. You had this kind of a fantasy version of it, and the reality ain't cutting it. Because we have here as a central theme the Knight of Swords. And this can be that type of profession that involves the mind. It could even be the law. Somebody who's a lawyer, somebody who is a journalist, a teacher, all of these types of professions, writer, this could involve. And they may have gone through a lot of training, but they may not feel this sense of hey, this is what I really want to do. And that can feel really bad, obviously, because you may have trained, you may have put a lot of money into it, or your parents sunk a lot of money into it. Well, too bad. This is, that doesn't mean that you have to do something that isn't resonating with you, and it may not resonate with you morally too. You can't forget that. And the Knight of Swords can be very outspoken. So I do see Gemini people. I'm a Sag, so that these are opposite signs, and Sag is the one that's known as being blunt. But Gemini people are very talkative, at the very least. It's not that you're trying to be controversial, but you do speak up, and you may not be liking what you're dealing with, and you're not going to just go along to get along. And that might ruffle some feathers. The higher message or the spiritual um, lesson in this is the Five of Cups. Learning how to mourn the loss of something. In this case, it can be the loss of a dream. You may have worked really hard at something. That's what this card can represent. Really working hard at something, really trying to perfect your craft, only to find out that what it was that you thought you were looking for simply wasn't the reality of the situation. And there's no shame in that game, in that realization of that. Because it sure beats doing something just because, oh, I put all this time studying for this, so I'm going to like stay in this career for 10 years to get my money's worth. If you don't like what you do, the chances of you being energetically drained are high. And there's no monetary compensation for that. There's always value in these experiences, even if it's $100,000 lesson that you learn. That's okay. All of that is an illusion. You can't take it with you, right? So if we emphasize the material too much, we could sacrifice our well-being for, some kind of money that is just a temporary situation in the first place. Or like, oh, I have to justify all the money I spent. Okay, well, do that if you want, but are you going to really feel this sense of peace, or are you going to feel this because you are getting your money's worth, or are you going to just prolong the inevitable? What crosses you is the Lover's card. Did you know that the Lover's card is connected to your sign, Gemini? And of course, we always think of the Lovers as being about a relationship, but it's also about choice. So that duality, even though it's a number 6 card, the duality of like this and that, of I can do this or I can do that, but it's in the challenge position. I remember reading that Gemini is one of those signs that is associated with a lot of what do you call it, indecisiveness. And I always like pegged Libra and Pisces that way, but not necessarily Gemini. Indecisiveness ultimately is about not trusting your own instincts and your own insights. And usually that happens because someone in your past, usually a parent or other caregiver, tried to instill in you that you could not trust your own judgment, and that they are the ones that matter. So this is especially true. Like, for instance, if you have a narcissistic parent, this is the kind of thing that they specialize in, is trying to get to plant doubt, because that's how they can control you. Okay, and what we have here coming in is the Queen of Wands. Now, if this is another person, this could be that parent, maybe a mother specifically, because queens can represent mother, who is overbearing. Sometimes this person may also have that good quality because this is in the upright position. So maybe they're not trying to be overbearing, but it's just like if they're a Leo. This card is supposed to be associated with Sag, but I always say that sunflower and the queen reminds me of Leo, the royalty. And when you think of a Leo person, they're very warm and they're very encouraging, the balanced ones. But sometimes if they're not so balanced, they can be overbearing. They can be pushy. And that can, lead to your internal conflict. And you have to make that decision that you're in charge of your decisions. You make a decision that you're in charge of your decisions, that nobody else has that right, no matter what. Yeah, but you have to accept the fallout. That is true. And that's what the outcome card represents. This is the fallout. This is conflict. Some of you may dislike conflict, especially if you have the moon in Libra, or if you have the moon in Pisces, possibly inner planets in Cancer, where you want that kind of, maybe you want acceptance, you don't want to be alienated from people that you love, then you might fear saying no and refusing to go along with something that somebody else has kind of strong-armed you into. But there's a difference between flexibility, which Gemini has, and being overtaken by somebody who has a stronger will. Sometimes you have to employ your will. And I picked a clarification card. And I got the High Priestess. So this is really about trusting your gut, tuning into your higher self, be still and know. Gemini has the monkey mind, the ADD mind. So meditation may seem like an impossibility for some of you. You know what? As a Sag who also is very active, at least mentally, maybe not, having Taurus rising, sometimes I love just chilling. But doing taking a long walk and calling it a meditation walk. You're not listening to anything on your phone. You're just tuning into your environment, and really, even if you are thinking about something, it's not in a kind of a frenzied way, but it's kind of in a meditative way, maybe visualizing your dream life. So maybe I should call it a visualization walk. But for some people, a meditation walk can be emptying the mind and not trying to think. And the fact that you're physically moving can make it easier to have your thoughts stilled or emptied from your mind. Okay, that's what I have for you, Gemini. I hope that this resonated. If you'd like a personal reading, I'm promoting my double readings, an hour of natal chart interpretation, an hour of transits for 2023 for a special price called my deep dive reading, and I have other readings as well. Please check me out at the link below. I'm at rainamoonastrology.com. Have happy holidays and happy new year. Bye.